Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Appy Hour. This is our chance to share what we've learned throughout this pandemic teaching, those tips and tricks that we say, hey, that's pretty cool, and I'd like you to know about it. And we're thrilled to have today with us Terri Hancock from Creekview High School. And Terri, you're going to tell us all about NearPod. Is that right?
I hope so. I was thinking, man, I should be a sales rep for them. That would be a great part-time gig. So on the chat screen, I gave you a link. Hopefully it works. It is to a Word document of an outline I'm going to go over today to keep myself on track. But at the top, it does have a link. However, if you can't get the link, I'm going to tell you another way to get to what I'm sharing with you. So today, NearPod is something Cherokee County picked up several years ago, and we started using, and they started in the elementary school. It is amazing for elementary school. And, oh, you can't see anything in the chat.
I saw it.
Okay. Let me see if
I did not either.
You might need to send it again since you sent it before everybody joined, I think.
Okay. Let's see if that works. So NearPod is great. It has amazing lessons already created, so the elementary teachers could pick up and use those. They're fun. The big thing about NearPod is it's collaborative. So it's we can get immediate formative assessment to our kids and kind of see where they are. It's like real-time learning. And so we were introduced to it in the high school last year, thank goodness, well before the pandemic happened. So it was a saving grace to be able to still teach. But what I found is when you teach online, I feel like you have to constantly check that they're still there and you haven't lost them. So with NearPod, all the activities helped us say, okay, they're still there, or they didn't just turn on their camera and walk away. So I'm going to share my screen with you, and what you have on your screen is going to be a link. So if you will go to nearpod.com, if you did not get my outline, so you can just do nearpod.com and then join code. But if you did get the outline, I gave you the direct link. So the first NearPod I'm going to share with you so that you can experience what the kids see. This is one created by NearPod. So it was created to show kids how to use it, but I felt like it was a great to get you engaged to see what the activities are. I don't know about Zoom. Do you have like a thumbs up that it's working for you? There we go. Okay. So I clicked off of it. And it went to slide 15 out of 15. So let's start back at the top. If you didn't get signed in, okay, it doesn't want to go back that way. Let's just go this way. At the top of the screen, I think because I ran through this morning, there we go. The top of the screen has the code. So sorry, normally would start on the join screen. So a few things on this screen I want to point out to you is in the bottom left. And I guess what I should have said is you may want to have a separate device. So I'm going to leave my screen on teacher screen so that you can see what the teacher would see. But if you ran this like on your phone, you could see what the students would see. That would be the point of logging in. So over on the left, you'll see, or if you have two windows, you can flip back and forth. I can see how many people are participating, and it's green. If at any point a student logs out, you will see it turn red, and you can kind of click and see which student has disengaged in our presentation. And so we have other options. We can hide student names and show student names, not on this screen, but this would be for the activities. All right, so welcome to NearPod. And on the first slide, one of the things they do is they'll typically give you the standards that correlate with the lesson. If these are pre-made lessons, they will always tell you any worksheets you need to print and any prior knowledge information you need for the teacher. It's called teacher prep slides. And on this slide, the big thing it's pointing out is in the top of your screen at the right, or my screen, you will see the S, and I can always change to student view from teacher view. And when we're done with this lesson, I'm going to share with you what a report would look like after we finished a lesson. So it's welcome to NearPod. And these are just some of the ways we use NearPods. So they do have the collaborative board, a draw it, open-ended questions, and the poll feature. My favorite feature outside of those is the VR experience, because we can't take kids on field trips, but they engage more if they can see what they're learning about. So that's a great feature with NearPod. So the first thing we're going to look at is a collaboration board. I usually start a lesson with one of these, like, what do you know about electrical circuits already? And then my students will use the collaborative feature on the board and they will tell me something. And the collaborative board, I'm going to go to it and then I'm going to point some things out for you. So on the collaborative board, the first thing that pops up as a teacher is, would you like to approve their comments? I don't know about college, but in high school, yes, I always want to approve their comments. And in this way, on this screen, the students have the option. If you look around at the bottom, I know my screen does look different. I'll go to student view. It will give you the option to upload a picture, or you can write a word, or I think you can draw. The only reason I don't like going back and forth is the delay. So you can write your answer in the bottom, or you can put a picture and then hit post. So I'll give you a minute to participate. So on the teacher screen, up in the top left, this is where I can see what the comments were. And then click the ones you want to share. If you don't want to share them, you just click the X. And not to be rude to anybody, but Kimberly, I'm going to use as an example. I'll hit the X and then hers will go away. She'll know she can rewrite something. Hers was totally appropriate, but she could rewrite something that I'd tell the kids more appropriate. I'm not going to post your answers. You can also set a timer on this. So if the students are taking too long, or you want to say, hey, I'm going to give you 1 minute to respond to, sorry, Kimberly. And so this is what the collaboration board looks like. When you make your own, you can actually change the way this looks. So moving on, the next one is a draw it. This would work good for little kids, but I kept thinking college, I was like trying to make this more relatable. And I was thinking maybe like a biology class when you're wanting them to redraw a cell or something similar to that. The features are a pencil, a pen. You click on it, you can change the color, you can change the thickness of your pen. You can use the text and do a type in the box. And you can also put a picture and erase. So we'll try, this is a draw your perfect learning environment. You use text box to label your key elements in the space. So I'll let you play with it for a minute, and then you'll be able to see on my screen what I see as a teacher. When I do live lessons in the classroom, I will actually mute my screen, the overhead projector, so the kids can't see, but I can always monitor what's going on. Another option is I can run NearPod on my phone and on my computer and navigate the two. I have to be in a really tech-savvy mood that day to do both. I've been using NearPod as well on live lessons. So I will use a live lesson in Teams with NearPod with my students if we're doing digital learning. Okay, so I like Mason's drawing. So I will click this drawing and I would want to share it with everyone so they can also see that I would like it. So I'd click the share button and that should have popped up on your screen. And I'll pick the ones I want to share with the class. And I can also choose to unshare, okay? And so we'll move on. All right, so the VR field trip, that was one of the things I said I love the most. So I teach civil engineering. I have to get a little creative how I search for these sometimes, but we took a look at like different bridge structures through the VR experience. So this is a university library is what it says. And so you can click the screen, drag it around, and examine the different areas of the library.
Where did you get this picture? Is it
so
in
this
their
is
bank?
built these are built into NearPod. This is some of their library, and their pictures are from all over the world. So as we go through, I'll show you where those are, and I'll show you how I've incorporated them.
I just discovered Google Street View. That's why I was asking.
Oh, that's pretty cool too.
It is pretty cool.
So open-ended questions, you can put these anywhere throughout a NearPod lesson. And even this NearPod lesson, this one was already created, but I'll show you once we get off of this how to edit. You can edit any of the pre-made ones, and you can add open-ended questions throughout any formative type assessments you want. And so as the teacher, this is what I see, but I believe on your screen, it just asks you a question in which you would write an answer.
Will it read it to you?
Yes, you can turn on, well, I said yes. So I was studying last night. Immersive Reader is a function. I haven't played with it in Student View to see how to access that. So when we get off of here, thank you for asking that question. I'm going to write myself a note. When I show you how I create lessons, I'll show you where the settings are. And so just like this one, I can choose which one of these to share. I can also see that only 44% of the classes participated. So sometimes I will encourage them to, okay, I can see only 20% of the classes participated. I'm waiting for you all to respond. And as they respond, now once I hit share, so I'm going to do that now. Once I hit share, anybody who was typing there, they cannot type any longer. It does cut off. So sometimes I hear, oh man, I was about to hit enter. So my class knows I check participation. So they want to get their answers in for full credit on the assignments. Polls are always good. Polls would have been great at the beginning of this one if I had thought about asking if you had ever seen NearPod before or used NearPod before. That would have been a great poll question to put at the beginning of this lesson. The students respond, and then the teacher receives a full report with feedback, and you'll see as you start to pick a choice, you'll see the little bubble here fill in for us, the pie graph. And if I'm rushing, please feel free to stop me and ask me questions. I think that was my biggest fear today, is talking too fast.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
On the collaborative board, I like the collaborative board where you can ask kind of an open-ended type question and people will respond. But on the collaboration part of it, can they respond to each other? Can you open it up so that they can do that?
Good question. I have not opened that up. I think that is an option. So in a minute when we create one, let's see if that's a feature we can activate. So because I'm doing my master's in online teaching, I've done a lot of activities with this and shared it with other teachers, trying to teach teachers how to integrate it more and all the features. And I've joined a Facebook page. So that's another thing. They have a Facebook page. It's very informative. I've seen several questions like that people ask, and I've learned a lot through that as well. One thing I did forget to show you when we're on this lesson too is anytime you're teaching a lesson, you have those teachable moments. Someone asks a question, say a math question, and you can always open. So I was playing last night with my husband, showing him that I was going to do this presentation today. I was like, here's the math question I'm going to give the college professors today. So you can write a question up on the whiteboard at any point, work it out on the whiteboard. You should see it on your screen and then close it back. You can also add activities, spontaneous. If you're like teaching and you realize, hey, I need to do a quick assessment, you can always throw an assessment in. So you're not locked to what you pre-created. I think we all know as you're teaching, you need to be flexible. Okay, so this is this lesson. Trying to move this Zoom around. So I'm going to go to NearPod. So this will probably close out your session. So you'll be able to watch on the Zoom screen and show you the report. So you can see what a report would look like. Oh, so this one's going to send to my account. So let me just go to NearPod though, in session. And so this is the home screen for NearPod. And so we're going to go over here to reports. It's being laggy. And I'm going to choose the presentation we just did and show you what a report would look like from your students. And you can download this report. It gives you each question broken out, or you can choose what the students see. And if I was to download, let's just see if we do a PDF of this session, it would show me all of the drawings you made, all of the answers you, so this report just said yes or no. Okay, so I'm a little, with Zoom, can you see the report that just pulled up that was in PDF? Or do I need to reshare my screen?
I think you might need to reshare to share the
Okay.
different application window.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Okay, see a nod of a head. Yeah, so this is your student report. This tells you how many students participated, correct answers. 100% participation, but then it also breaks down every activity we did and gives me what you did, so I can remember after the lesson is over. I'm sorry, it's a hard time loading to this afternoon. There we go. So do you find this feature beneficial on the college level?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so I'm going to take you back to, share Google, how NearPod is set up. So that was a NearPod lesson that they created. And I'm going to show you their library. So if I come down here, and I would imagine, I tried to look for higher education. I'd imagine once you get into higher education, if the school purchased the software or you did a trial of the software, you would be able to access other school libraries, because we can do that here. But if I pull these up, they're just going to be all pretty much elementary. So I'll show you the NearPod library. This is what's helped our teachers out a lot this year in the pandemic, when we all of a sudden closed school. They have some featured lessons that are really good ones, even things like Calm. This is a meditation. So talking about social and emotional learning, if you want to assign something about how do we meditate, how do we stay calm, they have those pre-built current events that are going on. They have videos, and a new feature they've added in their videos is you can pick, like, whatever grade you teach, you can pick one of their partners, and these are the ones that are pre-made. And for every video, when I click the video, it's going to ask me if I want to preview it, if I want to teach it, if I want to add it to my lessons. So I'm going to preview it to show you what it would look like. They've added an interactive feature to their videos. So everywhere you see these little blue dots, the video is going to stop. And I'm not sure with Zoom if I need to share my volume. She's talking about Newton's law, is not as important, but and so the video will pause and it will ask a question, and then you would receive the feedback, and then the video goes on and you can add them. You can even, in a lesson, find a YouTube video or video you want to play and add your own formative assessments into your videos if you would like. You can turn the interactive mode off if you would not like to use that. So that's a neat feature. All right, so with Zoom, is there a way to remove the bar at the top? I feel like I keep dragging it across my screen. Put it in the corner there.
I'm not sure. I have the same problem. So if you figure it out, tell me.
You can adjust what you share on Zoom. You can adjust your share window. So if you just want to share the NearPod screen, you could do that.
And I wouldn't see the Zoom, like your names off to the right, because that's what
Right.
keeps getting in the way.
Right.
Okay.
It's a setting. I think I can't do that because I'm not sharing, but I can't remember how to get to it.
What does say portion of my screen? Okay, we'll just leave it like this because
It is a portion, and you can actually decide how big you want your share box to be.
Okay. Yeah, we use Microsoft Teams for the county, so I've become pretty familiar with it. So we'll just keep moving on. So there's the videos, the activities. So the activities are made to be where you can add them in a lesson, or you can just use them as open-ended. So I've used a few of these matching activities as warm-ups in my classroom as my students are coming in. If we're going to talk about, we're talking about electrical circuits right now, so I'll put the electrical circuit. It's already made for me. It's really nice. And so the students would come in, they would use the code that was on the screen, just like I shared with you. And then they would play the matching activity before we even started. And then it kind of already lets me know, are they comprehending what we taught yesterday or not? So I like these activities, but they're pre-made activities from NearPod. They also have in these activities, I went too far out. They have Draw It, which is like Venn diagrams. You could pick grade levels. Let's see. The thing about this is you have to draw your text box. I did one the other day, a Venn diagram with my kids, and they enjoyed it. It was something new. It was trying to incorporate the technology, but they did have to draw a text box in order to type in it. I think if they were in the classroom, they would rather just handwrite it. So, but it's pretty neat. If you're digital teaching, it's definitely great tools to have. And you can create your own. You can change any of this to how you would like it to be. I'm sorry, I'm having to go all the way back out each time. Let's see. You can also on the left, you can search for different ones, like a different subject. I do find it hard. Like I can't type in engineering and just find engineering lessons, but I can type in architecture, find architecture activities and lessons. Lessons, pre-made lessons, a huge library of lessons. And then they have, you can search by publishers. One activity I use a lot in my classroom is FET. From the University of Colorado. So now the FET is built into the NearPod, so I can assign it to my students, and they were able to experiment with electric circuits through the NearPod, and I was able to receive a report. Normally, I give them a paper copy. I ask them to do certain tasks and then report back to me. What they found. So this was nice. This also gave more of a lesson with the FET activity versus I teach a lesson and then assign them different tasks to do. And this is what I was referring to earlier with teacher background information. It gives the students their learning objectives and today's lessons. Has anyone ever used FET before?
I've not. Can you slow down your clicks just a little
okay.
bit?
Sorry.
I can't tell if it's, I think there might be a little bit of a lag between your screen share and what we're seeing. So just slow down the click throughs just a little bit.
So this one's running through the scientific process with each one of these. And so I'm trying to get to the actual activity of FET. But here's an example of your collaborative board. And then it has the 3 slides. If you're teaching live in class, you have to remember that if the slides are like this, where all 3 on the left, the students can move ahead. They can only move to these 3 slides until you click for them to move on. That's if you do a live lesson. So you can do lessons 2 ways. You can do a live lesson, or you can do student pace. So you can assign this and they can go through it at their own pace. And I think in this particular one, I picked a long one to show you FET.
What does FET stand for?
That's a good question. I've never thought to ask myself that. I know that the University of Colorado out of Boulder is who has this program. And as teachers, we were glad that they kept it when Adobe Flash went away, because a lot of the simulator activities we do, we lost all of those with Flash. And so this allowed us to still be able to practice how to build a circuit and see if something's going to blow up or not work. It shows them what kind of which way the current flows. So sorry, I picked a really long one here. And this is kind of what a FET would look like once we get to it. Okay, so it's an external link to FET, so the kids can engage in the different features of the website to test what's going to happen. So that's a cool tool. So there's some of the things I just wanted to share with you and show you. So I've showed you kind of some of the pre-made stuff, and a lot of our teachers in the county really thought that's all that there was, but we all have good lessons. We all have our presentations we already give, but you can import these into NearPod. So there's a lesson I was going to share with you that I taught my students. These are all the ones we've done recently. And I'm going to show you this one to show you what I did incorrectly. And I'm just going to share it as a preview. I'm sorry. Let me go back. I'm actually going to do an edit. So I already showed you how on the left you have like 3 at a time. So what I did wrong in this one is you can pull. This is what it looks like to create a lesson. You start off with a blank slate. You just have a drag and drop. So you open your file, you pull in your PowerPoint. And for sake of time, it takes a really long time to convert them. It converts your PowerPoint as images though. So you can't edit any of your PowerPoint slides once you get them into the NearPod platform. So I brought mine. I knew that, and I wanted to add all these collaborative features. So on this particular lesson, when I went to add, I did not pull my whole PowerPoint in. Instead, I came in, I created a slide by clicking here, and I said, I'm going to create a new slide. And in here, you can drop a PowerPoint in as well. It could only be 13 pages though. So I had to break my PowerPoint up into sections of how I wanted to present the information. And at the time, it sounded perfect idea, because I wanted to put all these formative assessments into the lesson. So you drag them in here and it creates them as individual slides going down your screen. And I'm going to show you one. And I came in and taught this lesson, and this is the slide I'm referring to. And I about went crazy because I looked around and all my students were going through all the different slides. They weren't keeping up with me. So I did not like this technique of pulling them in this way, but I thought I would show it to you as my mistake. But in the college level, I was trying to think back. It's been a while. If this would be beneficial for you to put several slides together where they can work at their own pace as you're talking through those key points. And then I added a collaboration board. So since we're here, I'll show you how this works. So I added my title. You click add. You have the option to add videos. These can be YouTube videos. You just have to find the YouTube video you want and insert the web address here, or you can search for one and it will pull, just like it's searching the internet. You still have the option to preview if you use it this way. Preview the power video before you decide to use it, or you can upload your own. Maybe you have your own recorded lecture you want to put in here. So this is how you would add a video. Oh, I still want to cancel, sorry. A slide is kind of like a slide in a PowerPoint. Like I said, you could bring in up to 13 at a time, or you could just do one. It is limited, so I will share this with you. It's limited in design features, so it's not like a PowerPoint. You basically have these 4 layouts you can choose from, and it can be a picture, it can be words. So we'll pick 2 boxes and a title. You can add a movie file, a JPEG, an image, or you can type. So if you click the add button, you can add any of these. You're also limited on text to what size you want that text to be to fit into your box. And then you have the basic orientation and bullet points. The other thing with NearPod is if you change the theme, you want to change the look of this, it will change for every slide in your presentation. So that is important to remember. Now, earlier you asked the question, would it read it to you? So I'm still need to go back and look at the slide we were on for that. But I do know that if I create a presentation, I can add audio myself. So if I wanted to talk about the slide I had here, I have recorded audios before, and that audio is just for that one slide. So I've used that feature and it works really well. Time to climb. I'm going to preview this with you since we're on this screen. A lot of teachers use it as an end game. The kids like competing against each other to see who can get to the top of the mountain. It really is a formative assessment. And you can pull questions over that NearPod already has, or you can write your own. But you would just create it like a multiple choice questions. You can add images to these questions if you would like. So in this one, I've added a picture, and you set how long you want the kids to be on. Until they have to answer the question, kind of like a Kahoot if you played Kahoot, but built into NearPod. This is a FET activity. So just like FET, you can add other interactive websites because it it just links to the external website into your lesson. So in this one, the kids just drag and drop and then test go to see what's going to happen. All right, so back to adding things. Web content takes you to a web page. When you open it up in NearPod, it gives you a preview of what the web page looks like, and then the kids click it, and it does take them off to another site. Vocabulary, I'm not sure on the higher education level what that would be, but on our level, it's mostly geared towards elementary. 3D NearPod is cool. If you're teaching a lesson and you want to add some of the 3D features, they have a great library to choose from. I was just teaching power, so I used this. I'll preview this one for you. I threw a nuclear power plant in there so my kids could see 3D, what a nuclear power plant looked like, and then we talked about the different features. And there's the FED again. VR field trips. Is there anything particular you want me to search?
Let's search Niagara Falls.
Go to Greece.
Greece. I heard Greece and Niagara.
Let's do Greece. Greece is better.
I think I just saw Greece.
Now let's go to Santorini. I miss it.
I've never been. It looks beautiful.
It is.
Yes, very peaceful. So we'll just pick, this one looks nice. We'll pick and preview before you want to use it. And then the kids can just navigate around. So is this similar to the Google Road View that you were referring to?
Google Street View is a little bit different. You can have something that's static like this, or you can actually like walk down the street.
Oh, okay.
But it's similar.
So when we were talking about civil engineering, I used it a lot to pull up, some of the Roman structures and share that with the kids. Has a graphing calculator. I've never used it. The BBC videos. You can make your own sways and incorporate those into it. You can do audio clips and PDFs. So these are called content slides. And then the activities are all of our assessment tools that you can use.
We used the Street View, Google Street View we took like 30 pictures of our hallway and pieced them all together so we could do a 360 picture. And we could put tag different areas of interest and talk about them.
It's a neat idea. I think I got off my outline. I knew I needed an outline to keep me on topic. So I showed you one I've made. Kind of showed you how you would make one. And then here's one I pulled in a PowerPoint, an older PowerPoint I had. And I did this one the right way. I pulled in the whole PowerPoint. And then that way, when I preview through, each slide is its own slide. I think I might have a touch of ADD, and it drove me crazy seeing the kids looking at something totally off topic than where we were. And so when I would just need to add something from NearPod, I would add the activity into the lesson. So it's very versatile. You can do a lot with it. I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed some of the pre-made lessons, and I've enjoyed adding my own and adding the formative assessments into them. I want to share this website I found because I knew I was doing this for higher education. NearPod is in higher education, and I put this at the bottom of the outline I sent you if you wanted to look at it and look at how you could try to get maybe a trial to try it out in your classroom, see if it's something that Reinhardt's interested in using. You can click on here. The blog was pretty good, listening to how our students are so engaged. They're so engaged with their games. It's just their nature these days, that how NearPod, all these tools right here, is helping us engage with them. And I think I watched one of the other Appy Hour sessions, and it was someone was talking about the engagement piece. You don't have them in front of you anymore. So how do you get them to engage in conversations?
So is this primarily a synchronous teaching tool? So the teacher has to be walking through the NearPod as a student uses it, or are there other options where a student can self-pace through them?
You can self-pace. Okay. So back on NearPod, and I can give you a code. You can try one. I can do student pace.
Okay. So there's two different options. If you want them on the same page with you, you can keep them on the same page with you, or you can say, go do it.
Yeah. And so we use Canvas. And so if I teach, well, we've had so many kids quarantined. So, a lot today. So
right.
If I do a NearPod in class, I will post it in Canvas as student pace. That way I don't have to live teach a asynchronous lesson and share it with them at the same time.
Right.
And some of them are sick and they need to come back. So the only thing that I don't like is, and it now warns you, which is super nice, is this collaborative tool. Obviously they can't collaborate if they're all on at a different time. So we'll just hit continue. Here's a code. If you want to go to nearpod.com and type this code in, we can play with it real quick and let you see what this looks like.
While you're doing that, Terri, if you don't mind me interjecting, we actually do have NearPod at Reinhardt as part of our Office 365 suite.
Oh,
and
cool.
And it also is can integrate into Canvas. So if any of y'all are not
thank you. Yeah. Thanks for saying that. So I do want to show you that. And this is why I did have. Thank you. I'm so glad you said. This is my first session like this, and I'll be honest with you, I was pretty nervous. I was like, oh my gosh, I can teach high school kids, but so I'll let you get onto that. So my option as a teacher at this point is to, and as you can see on the bottom, you have all these other embed tools, but I'm going to show you. I do embed in Canvas. I love it. And so it shows who's in. Okay, I'm scared to leave because I'm scared that might mess you up. So I did open up my Canvas sandbox. So I'll show you real quick while we're on Zoom how to integrate these. So help me out a little bit because I know Canvas has a few features like we have NearPod, or the county IT is so good in Cherokee County. They already do a lot of our presets. I can show you how to do that if you don't have NearPod. It is real easy. You just go to settings. And from settings, go to apps. And you would just, I don't know if I can filter by name. Let's see. You just find NearPod and you activate it. Is it already activated for y'all in Canvas?
I don't know if it's whatever defaults. No.
Okay. Yeah, so then you would go to apps and then you would install it. You can see mine is already installed. And I think I'm scared to click it. Our county is really strict too. They're really good and they're really strict. So I don't want to click it and get into something else. But once you activate the app, you can go to your assignments. And when you create an assignment, I did this one here. So I just did the plus button. I added the assignment. And now that it's there, I'm going to open it and edit the assignment. If you would like to write, I'm sorry. I think I already did this one playing around. Let me add one from scratch so you can see. All right, so here I added the Mars one. You can type something if you would like, or you could just put the NearPod. Today you're going to complete a NearPod. So you would still, so if you want to type, you can. You can change the points here. I have to give points or my kids won't participate. And then submission type, you're going to choose external tool. And then you will find NearPod in your apps that you've already got. So it linked to my page. And so now I find the NearPod I want to assign. And like I said, I'm going to assign this one student paced because the kids will not be able to do it live. And then hit select. And it's not going to show up until I hit save. And I can publish it because this is a sandbox page. And there you go. The good thing about this is the kids will put their names in, but it's linked to their Canvas page. So it's going to automatically put their name in for you, even if they type something different. And then when they finish the lesson, do you use SpeedGrader in Canvas?
We do.
Okay, so I love this because SpeedGrader is going to come up, and obviously I don't have one now. It's going to show me that student report I shared with you earlier, and that's my daughter, so I'm not breaking any confidentiality laws there. I had to put her in my sandbox so I could play with some of the tools and features. The other question you asked was, I told you I was going to show you the sum come out of this, the settings. So once you're in your NearPod page now, so you'll have to help me, but we log in with our logins from Cherokee County. Our same username passwords. So our accounts are linked.
That's typically what we do too. To use our Reinhardt addresses with any services we're going to use, both outside and in Canvas.
And that's what's going to link it to your Canvas. And so when I come into my profile, though, this is where you can change your lesson settings. A lot of people don't know these are here, where it automatically inserts their names. Oh, this is probably why it didn't read it to you. So you can turn on the immersive reading feature. Student notes, I did forget to share that with you. That is in one of the lessons. So anytime you turn this feature on, the students can click, it looks like a little pen up in the right-hand corner, and it pulls up all of your slides that are in your NearPod, and out beside each one of them, they can take notes. And they can have that, email it to them, to themselves when they're done with the lesson. So that's a great study tool they've added. This is like one of their new features, and this is only available on the Premier Edition, I believe. I'm just going to go slow so you can kind of see what these features are. Oh, so you asked earlier on the collaborative board. I know you asked if they could discuss with each other. So I don't see a feature for that.
It does look like they can post it if it's a student-paced lesson, though. So that's encouraging.
Okay.
Yeah. If you see the Enable Collaborate board for student-paced lessons.
But discussion back and forth. I know my college class, we do a lot of discussions.
Yeah, I don't see that in there.
I mean, I really love the discussion on Canvas. I love that feature where you can do the speed grade too and see what that person said and who participated. Let me go back to a lesson. I wonder when I put a collaborative board in, if that is an option to choose.
I wonder that too. It looks very similar to a Padlet, and so I'm wondering if that's one of the features that you can turn on or off.
So I will tell you, I find this easier than Padlet. Now, Cherokee County actually will not. It's a not approved program for us to use Padlet. I was on a student leadership conference coincidentally, and Padlet got out of control really fast. So I saw that side of it. Okay, so I don't see where they can respond back to each other. So I guess that would be more for a discussion board post. But there is a Facebook page that would be a good place to ask a question like that. Is there anything else you'd like to see or I could share with you?
That was very informational. Thank you.
Yeah, it gave me a really good idea of what it is and what it can do. And it's another one of those things when you have so many tools at your disposal that are already included, you can be a little bit overwhelmed. I don't know that I would have ever explored it myself, but I'm certainly glad I know what is there and what the options are. So thank you very much. Any, Lydia?
No questions on my part. I think that was great. And it was, I just did my last happy hour on virtual field trips and virtual reality. And so it was interesting to see that there's more out there. And one of my complaints about engaging with virtual reality and, Googling some free resources is that they change so quickly. And so having it housed in NearPod, I wonder if it would make it more accessible for our instructors. And I thought that was really neat that's an additional resource we can explore for virtual reality. So thank you for sharing that. That was great.
No problem. Thank you for inviting me. This is definitely something new for me to try.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, I will say I was scared of NearPod. Too many things when I first looked at it. I thought, not going there. So I was very interested to see what all the things it can do, but yet at the same time, can you just do a few, right?
So I think that's great that we have an instructional technologist that came out to the school and just showed the basics. And I think the way he presented it was look for the pre-made lessons to help you out. And so everybody was using those, and then that was it. And I kind of was that way too. But then eventually I started slowly adding, I want to add my own. Like I want, I have this really great lesson. They don't, and for me in engineering, they don't have a lot. Like it's very limited, but they do have great VRs. And I love, and to me, the formative assessment is the biggest gain for me in my classroom. And instead of having formative assessment as a ticket out the door, I can put it 3 minutes into the lesson to see if you comprehended before I keep moving on, and they're lost for the rest of the day. So, but I'm always here. If you need help, please reach out to me. I'd love to help. Enjoyed it.
Well, sure thing. Thank you so much, Terri.
No problem.
This is, again, we want to know the tools that you're using and how effective it is with your students so that we can try them out with our students. And I certainly want to extend the invitation to you and to all of your friends to join our happy hours in the future. We have some interesting subjects coming up. So please feel free to share those join links with anybody that you think might enjoy it. And one final word about our summer teaching and learning conference. We are holding a summer teaching and learning conference at Reinhardt, run by CITL, the Center for Innovative Teaching and Engaged Learning. And our theme is Control C, which is, the copy. Yeah. What is it that we learned because we had to? This pandemic came along and it made us all change a lot of things very rapidly, some kicking and screaming the whole way.
Oh, no.
But eventually we did learn some new tools and some new tricks. And so our conference is going to be, what were those things that we learned to do that we might not have ever explored were it not for the pandemic? That, hey, we're going to keep this. We're going to keep doing this, and we're going to use this in the future, even when we get to have our students back in class at the chalkboard or wherever you prefer to teach. So this set of Appy Hours has been a good outlet for that, and we want to continue that into the summer. So I want to invite you and make sure you spread the word to all your friends that we do have this conference coming up in June. I think we're competing with Irma for a date. We had one selected, but now we might need to move it just a little bit.
Okay.
But we're certainly excited about that. And so extend an invitation to you and to all your friends to come join us.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Great. Well, thank you so much.
Thanks. Y'all have a good weekend.
You too. All right.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Have a good weekend.